Hi friends, this is Chris. Here we are. I just got off the train on the West Highland Line and we're in the waiting room at Arrochar train station. So I'm just about to set off on a two-night camping trip at the Loch Lomond National Park. Why, I hear you ask? Are you camping in the winter in February in Loch Lomond National Park? Well, all will be revealed as we go along. We're inside the waiting room at the moment, basically because unfortunately the weather's turned on us again, I'm afraid. It's been a very blustery and very wet February, and I was hoping we'd get a break in the weather this weekend to do a wee bit of filming. In fact, it was a lovely morning in Dumbarton this morning. We did Taiji in the park in Dumbarton this morning. It was lovely and clear, but unfortunately it's become overcast now and the rain's on, and I'm afraid rain and video cameras don't mix. So hopefully we can do some filming and I'll explain why I'm camping in February in Loch Lomond National Park and why I'm filming it. Okay, so why go camping in the winter? Well, I go camping anyway, anytime. I think with certain people, being outside, being in nature, being in the woods, on the hills, is a kind of tonic. It actually helps to cope with modern life, to be able to come out somewhere and find freedom. But why winter? And you could say, well, Chris, you're walking along here filming in the rain. It's not exactly a good advert for camping. But if you only ever camp in the hot sunny weather, with the midges by the way, no midges in the winter, yippee, then you only really experience the elements from one perspective. And I've always ever filmed videos of me outside in the summer. But in fact, actually, when you come into the hills and the forest in the winter, what you see is Mother Nature in a winter shroud. But also as well, it's contrast. It's yin-yang. It's a Taiji moment. We're at the change now from winter to spring. Winter, where Mother Nature has been asleep and quiet. Energy has been dormant. The yin energy has been dominant. But now in the spring, everything is starting to pick up. Snowdrops are coming up, daffodils are coming up, the sun feels warmer. But you're only ever going to experience that if you come outside. So yeah, you don't have to come camping, but to come out and experience the change of seasons, that's a Taiji moment.
Morning friends, Chris here and welcome to Taiji in Loch Lomond Park, HQ. It's about 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. Just had my breakfast and just about getting ready to pack up and head back to where I live. It's been a wild and windy weekend. I'm afraid the weather didn't get it quite right. Bad storm Friday night, Saturday morning. A lot of rain early Saturday morning. Really bad storm last night. Talk about 70-mile-an-hour winds easily. But it's okay. I'm pretty sheltered where I am at the moment. I picked this spot because it is very sheltered. And this is a pretty stable tent. You might be wondering why there's wee bits of silver foil about the tent. It's because I usually put what's called a mylar blanket or a space blanket between the inner tent and the waterproof outer tent, and that helps to keep the heat in, especially on a cold night. I had intended to do a wee bit more filming, but the weather just put the hamper on that, I'm afraid, and I was going to do a wee bit more about what kind of gear I take. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to tell you about something that's pretty amazing. Actually happened yesterday. 30 years I've been coming up to Loch Lomond National Park to do some walking and camping. But yesterday I saw something, only the second time in 30 years I've ever seen it actually. About late yesterday morning, Saturday morning, the weather kind of eased off. So I thought I'll go out and do a wee bit of filming. And I headed on along the mountain trail towards Arrochar, the village of Arrochar, at the top of Loch Lomond, because there's some pretty spectacular mountains there. And the weather wasn't great, the cloud was low, but you could still see the peaks of the mountains. And I was walking along the trail heading towards Loch Lomond, and in my peripheral vision I could just see two birds. They seemed to be circling above the mountains above Arrochar. Especially the mountain Ben Narnain, which is in Scotland we call a Munro, which is a mountain over 900 metres, 3,000 feet. And there was something about the birds that caught my attention, and I looked up and I realised they were huge birds, massive birds. And the way they were flying, at first I thought they were buzzards, the way they were flying. And I'm not an expert, I'm not an ornithologist, I'm not an expert on birds. But I know buzzards because we don't see them much here in Argyll, but where my sister lives, up in Perthshire, she's got a couple of buzzards on her land. And hello Alison, hello Cleo and Joe. So I've seen buzzards, I know buzzards, and you can actually recognise them quite easily. But they seem to be flying like buzzards, but they weren't buzzards, they were huge birds, much bigger than buzzards. So I was wandering along looking at them thinking, what is that? What are they? And then they kind of circled off and went up into the clouds, and then the penny dropped, and then I kind of thought, oh yeah, because I remember seeing on the internet feed last summer when we come out of lockdown that the park authorities put out a press briefing saying that sea eagles had been spotted in Loch Lomond for the first time in years. And I thought, yeah, there must have been a pair of sea eagles, because you just can't mistake them. They're massive birds. On average, their wingspan is about 6 feet, but they can get bigger. And I've actually seen one before, back in 1995, along the forestry tracks, just above Arrochar. When I was coming down one of the tracks on a mountain bike, I disturbed one of them. It must have been up in the spruce tree, about 30, 40, 50 feet above me. And as I was coming down the mountain track, it flew over me. And you don't mistake it. It's such a huge bird. And I nearly fell off my bike. And I stood there and I just watched it glide over Glen Loyn, sorry. And it went over Glen Loyn and just settled in a tree on the other side of the glen. And that was 1995, and I've never seen one since. And I know the RSPCB website says that the last sea eagle in Scotland was shot in 1918. But I'm not, as I said, I'm no expert on birds, but sea eagles, I mean, they'll go where the food is. And, you know, according to the local information here at Loch Lomond, Arrochar. You know, there have been sea eagles here for years, but they kind of disappeared towards the end of the 20th century because the food just dried up. You know, the salmon and the sea trout, the stocks dried up because of industrial scale fishing in the Atlantic. And the birds will go where the fish are, so they go where the food is. And so the sea eagles, you know, they're left. But now that the fishing industry is gone basically in Scotland, and the stocks of fish are coming back, and the water, we've got the clear water, clean water here in Scotland, the sea eagles have returned. So yeah, and it just goes to make my point, and the point of this video is that the only way really you're going to see them is if you come out and come into the park and enjoy the park, and all, you know, through the seasons. Because I suspect the sea eagles were hunting yesterday because after the long hard winter they need to put on calories, so they need to hunt. So this time of year, the change of season, you know, they're likely to be very active. So that was quite amazing. I was quite blown away by that. Actually, only the second time in 30 years I've ever seen a sea eagle and a pair of sea eagles. So again, you know, this video really is for anybody who's interested, but principally for my students as well, because I keep telling them I come camping in winter. And I don't think they believe me, actually. So I did this video just to prove I do go camping in the winter. But also as well to anybody and everybody out there that, you know, come out and enjoy the season, the change of the season, get away from the television. Yeah, you can watch sea eagles on television, but there's nothing like coming out and seeing one actually in the wild. It's quite incredible. So that's it for me, folks. It's not been the video I'd hoped to do because of the weather, but hey ho, it's that time of year. But even so, you know, you can sometimes see some amazing things, even when the weather's crap. But we'll do another one. I'll do another video. Clearly, I mean, I've been camping, wild camping, for a long time, over 30 years. But I don't take video cameras with me. I just enjoy it for my own pleasure. But the fact I've got my camera with me, and the universe was very kind enough to show me a pair of sea eagles, I think that's the universe telling me, no, take your camera with you, you plonker, because it's some interesting stuff to see, and other people might like it. So, okay, so I promise next time I go camping, wild camping, I'll take the camera again, and we'll see what comes up next time. So, thanks for watching.